Passive income is a myth, and in our trust recession, nearly passive income is becoming harder and harder to convert because it removes the element that makes things convert: humans. I shared last week why and how I scrapped my passive webinar funnel and replaced it with a high-touch live funnel that converts between 8 and 18%, averaging 10%. This is $100K in revenue and counting without spending more than 3 hours per week to run it. Because being people forward in your business doesn't mean you can't use automations. It just means you're not automating where it counts most, in those human-to-human touch points. Comment hell yes or give this video a like if you agree. So I'm gonna walk you through the webinar automations I use inside GoHighLevel, who is also a sponsor of this channel. GoHighLevel is not only a sponsor of this channel, but runs my 6-figure webinar funnel with things like landing pages, email and text automations, checkout carts, and everything else I need. They also do cool stuff like QR codes, chat widgets, storefronts, course and group hosting, affiliate programs, invoicing, client portals, booking calendars for your whole team, and so much more. GoHighLevel works for e-com and service-based businesses from startup to scale up, making it one of the only all-in-one platforms that's actually worth using. To get a full 30-day trial to test it out for yourself, be sure to use my link in the description to see what GoHighLevel can do for you. Now let's dive behind the scenes with how I've built my 100K webinar funnel inside GoHighLevel. I shared in my last video the webinar strategy and the client experience pieces of my process, so be sure to watch that next if you haven't seen it already. Right now, I want to talk solely funnel tech and copy, starting with the landing page. We have 2 duplicate landing pages. One is shared on all of our organic channels in email, and the other is via ads only. Each form on these pages tags the person with either warm or cold, and this gives us an easier, not perfect way, but an easier way to track return on ad spend, but the pages are actually identical. So this is what it looks like in the back end of GoHighLevel. We have a separate one of these for our warm and cold funnel. And what's great about GoHighLevel is you can set up multiple different steps, test out different things, split test if you want to. But you see here we had like a couple different thank you pages. We can tell the opt-in page which thank you page to take people to. So when you look at the opt-in page first, you'll see I use this very similar layout for most of my opt-in pages because it works really well. So I have a subheader with information about it being a free live training for service-based businesses. So this is letting people at a glance know what it is and who it's for. Then we go into the title and the subtitle, something that is, again, aligned with what my audience is looking for. So I'm really trying to speak their language. And I'm adding in some juicy information that they're gonna wanna know, that's gonna make them wanna say, ooh, yes, please. And then we have more information on it being live and the day and time. Now I do this every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I really thought I would have problems, people asking like, which Tuesday is it? Thankfully, I haven't had that be a problem. I've added in the trust pilot just to add some added trust. And then we have the form. When they fill out this form, it's gonna tag them with warm or cold, depending on which page they're on. They fill out name, email, and phone number, and then secure their spot. The next section is going into what they need to know to trust who it is that is putting on this webinar, especially if they don't know me or don't know me very well, and to know what is gonna be in this webinar and whether or not it's gonna be information that they want, right? So all of this information is really geared towards what does my audience need to know or want to know to be able to trust me and to take this next step. And so all of these are really curiosity driven. They're opening up loops in their mind that make them want to answer the question. It's introducing things that they've probably not heard of before. It's teasing things that are, really important. And they're like, ooh, I need to understand what this is. And do I have this? And just going into, results, things that they want to see. The next section is again about building trust. So we have my accreditation logo, label, whatever it's called, an image of a little bit of what to expect or what this is going to look like inside of the class, and then reviews for the actual class. So what other people have said about it. This way, people are not thinking, yeah, this is just going to be one long pitch. They're seeing from other people, wow, there's actual value in here. Cool, let me sign up for this. The next section is an about section, just in case, again, they don't know me, just a little bit more information on who I am and what I'm about. And then we go into FAQs. At this point of the page, if there's anything on their mind that's holding them back from signing up, we're trying to answer it in the FAQs to the best of our ability. And so again, all this is built on GHL, but people can toggle these open if they're curious about it. And that's the whole page. The landing page or the thank you page that they land on after they sign up is really basic and simple. It's just, you're in, it's a confirmation, thank you for registering, here are the event details, make sure you add this to your calendar. Really, really simple information just to confirm that they're in. And then they'll also get the email and the text, which I'll go over next. Next is the automation. Both landing pages, warm and cold, go into the same automation. They just have that warm or cold tag. Now, full disclaimer, I paid an expert to build this out for me, and I highly encourage you to do the same thing. So let's look at what this actually looks like. The automation gets triggered when the next webinar tag is added. I'll explain that in a minute. Or if they have submitted the form through either the warm or the cold page, or if they come into school, when they enroll in my school group, there's a question there that asks them, do you want to join this class? And if they say yes to that question, it will actually send them through this and invite them as well. Then we go into the condition, which is just the different triggers up at the top. And then based on these conditions, if it is cold, warm, or school, they're gonna go through a slightly different next phase. So it's gonna add the tag saying cold webinar opt-in, warm, or just webinar opt-in. And then we go into create or update opportunity. So what opportunity actually does is move people from one of these columns into another column so that we can kind of see where people are at. We don't use this very much, but we do have it set up. It's not fully set up, so I can't really show you how it would work in a normal setting, but we would let them know, you know, here's the pipeline, here's the stage of the pipeline that they should be in, warm versus cold. This would be cold as well. And then from there, we have go-to tags on these ones, and we have a condition on this one. The condition on this one is whether or not they have already purchased. And if they have, then it's gonna end this. And if they have not, if they do not have the BB purchase tag, then they're going to get the confirmation. So I actually, when you sign up for GoHighLevel through my link, I'm gonna include all of the text for the text messages and the emails. So I'll break that down in a separate doc when you get that. But I send a text message and an email just confirming that, you know, they're in. Here's your information. We've got your seat saved, all of that jazz. Now we do a math operation. This is gonna not make total sense just yet, but when they come through this, it's gonna add a value of 1, okay? Now remember that, we're gonna come back to it in a minute. It's gonna filter out for the day and time, do a little bit of a short wait, it's half a minute, and then it goes into a condition of if the webinar cycle equals 1, 2, or 3, okay? So that's this number up here, the math equation. If they are going through this the first time, then this is going to be 1. So if their webinar cycle equals 1, they come over here. This means it is the first time they have signed up for this webinar. Now, when they go down this path, what they're gonna get is another text and email 4 days out that is reminding them of some stuff and asking some questions that help me prepare for the webinar. Then we do a 1 day out, 24 hours. We're removing a tag that says attended just in case they have gone through this whole funnel before. You know, we want to make sure that that tag is not on here, so we remove it here. And then they get the text and the email again 24 hours before, just a reminder. Morning of, letting them know in the morning that their access link is going to come an hour before. The access link is 1 hour before. And then 10 minutes before we say, hey, we're jumping on early. If you want to join us for some pre-chats or pre-webinar Q&A, you can jump in early. And then we have the 3-minute reminder, hey, you know, like we're just getting started. Are you having any trouble getting in? That sort of thing. Then we wait until after the webinar is over. And this condition is whether or not they attended or not. The tags are set up inside of GoHighLevel with what is called a trigger link. So they have a unique link that will tag them. If they click that link to join the webinar, it's going to tag them attended. If they don't have that attended tag, they'll go down this one, and this is like, hey, so sorry we missed you. If they do get it, it's like, hey, so glad you came, here's the link to the offer, and then we wait a little while. This one is going to both give them the replay, but it also is going to say, do you want to come next week instead? So when they go through this one, you'll see this little line up here. It goes to, if it scrolls, where is it at? Nope. Yep. Nope. It's, my computer does not like when I record. It goes to this math equation again. So now instead of 1, it's going to add 1 more. So now it's going to be 2, right? So now the condition is webinar cycle equals 2. So this way they're getting reminders, but they're not getting all the same reminders. They're getting different reminders. So we give a 24-hour reminder, like, hey, it's coming up again. Make sure you have it on your calendar. Morning of, just email to let them know your access link is going to come an hour before. This is access link. 10 minutes before is again, hey, we're jumping into the pre-webinar chat if you want to join us. And then I don't do anything 3 minutes into the webinar on this one. We do wait a little bit, and same thing here, attended versus not attended. If they don't attend, once again, we go back up to the top where we go to this math equation, and it's going to add 1 more. So now instead of 1 or 2, it's going to say 3. This is the final time, right? So if it goes to 3, they are going to get something just an hour before saying, hey, we're jumping on again. I know you haven't made it the last couple weeks, but here's your chance to come now. So it's a text and email, same thing, 10 minutes. We don't do the 3 minutes in, and then attended versus not attended. And if they do not attend, it's going to go back up to the math equation. It's going to add 1 more, but now you'll see it's 1, 2, 3. Well, if it's not 1, 2, 3, it's going to have to be 4. So if none of those equations or none of those conditions are met, so if it's not cycle 1, 2, 3, they've been through these 3 cycles, then what we do is we go down, add a tag that says webinar cycle's done, and we update the contact field, webinar cycle back to 0. Why do we do this? In case somebody comes back a couple weeks from now, a couple months from now, and they want to go through it all again. This way, it's going to pop them back through the top, and they get to go through the process again. So this is the in-depth. It's a little fancy. Like I said, it's above my pay grade. I paid someone else to build this out, but I wrote the copy, tested out when we're sending things, made edits to things. And so if you want all of the copy, everything that I send, especially because copy is so important so that people don't complain. They are not frustrated that they're getting unnecessary emails. Every single one of these emails, they're appreciating. It's helpful for them. And so we don't have people unsubscribing and complaining that it's too many reminders. They all make sense in the process of this. So if you want to see what all of that looks like, make sure you sign up for my GHL sponsor link. Get those 30 days free in GHL to try it for yourself. And you will also get the copy from my automation. Next up are the checkout cards. During the live webinar, the slides actually prompt people to text my number to get the special offer. That setup is within an automation in GoHighLevel as well. And then we share it in the live chat and in the post-webinar emails to attendees. So this is what the back end of the GoHighLevel checkout cart order form funnel looks like. Very similar to the automation setup, where you can set up as many different pages as you want, even inactive pages, and then you just tell GoHighLevel inside the cart setup what it should go to next. So if somebody uses this cart, should it go to this upsell or to this upsell? And this way you can change things around, you can add things, you can test things without having to make massive changes. You're just adding a step to the funnel and then choosing whether or not you're actually using that step, which is really cool. You also have the ability to add order bumps and upsells. The order bumps are added in the cart, and then the upsells are added in the funnel. So this is what the cart actually looks like. And you can tell it's not that pretty. It's not fancy. We're just adding a little bit of text. We're reminding them of some testimonials that they saw in the webinar, and then they can choose their payment option. They can choose whether or not they want the order bump, and then how they want to end up paying. You also have the ability to add terms and conditions. This is actually within the cart. So you see here the terms and conditions, and then it'll add a page here so somebody can actually read through it if they want to. And again, we can do split testing on it, which we haven't gotten around to doing it, but it is an option. So what's not automated? I do not automate the webinar itself. I show up live and teach that every week. I don't automate any replies to emails or texts either. And I also don't use AI to write my ads, my opt-in page copy, my webinar, and so on. Although I did use it to proof and edit my webinar to help me keep it succinct. Basically, in my business, if something is gonna interact with another human, it's gonna be a human doing the interacting. I don't want to build a business that doesn't keep human interaction and human mindset and thoughts and words front and center. And that's a big part of why my business works so well. Automations are great, don't get me wrong, but I use them as a tool to free me up so that I can physically show up where I know it matters most, in those real conversations with real people, speaking their language and providing for their needs. AI can make things sound pretty and polished, but it doesn't make it sound personal. Drop a hell yeah in the comments if you agree. Also, let me know your questions, and don't forget to grab your 30-day GoHighLevel trial of your own to see if it's right for you. If you use my link below, you'll also get a bonus with my webinar automation copy included.